Hi everyone. Our word these last couple of weeks has been release. And I was thinking about how we so want to lock down life. We want to be certain. In fact, the number one cause of fear, studies have shown, is uncertainty. So we want to be certain about stuff. We want to lock it down. We want to be sure of life. And life just does not play that game with us. There are uncertainties around every corner. And this word release, to me, speaks to the need to let go along the way. There's no finish line where it's like, whew, I've arrived. I can now live happily ever after. Life is an infinite game. Simon Sinek, the great thought leader, about business and leadership, has said we need to learn how to stay in the infinite game. There are a series of wins and losses, but none of them are the end of the world. If we are playing an infinite game, we're in a constant evolution of learning and growing, and there's no I've arrived. And we really want that. Why? Because we were conditioned as children to get to the point where it says, and they lived happily ever after. But there is not that point. Because sometimes your happy ever after is full of disappointments and sorrows too, or lessons learned. Failures, gut-wrenching failures. This is the story of life. And not letting those gut-wrenching failures or disappointments or turns in the road to cause us to give up, but instead to just let go. Can you say, I learned something from that, instead of beating yourself up over the fact that it happened? And we get in a rhythm of life and it works for us, but then all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore. And we try to put that square peg in a round hole, make it continue to work. And the truth is we're playing an infinite game in life. And what worked 5 years ago may not work now. It may mean eliminating some things from our life, or adding some things to our life, or even professionally, you think you've reached a certain point, and yet there's always something new to learn, to stay on top of your game, the infinite game. So it used to be that the business of broadcasting counted on the fact that people didn't want to change the channel. That's why they would put a brand new show next to a really popular one, because they figured people won't change the channel, they'll just stick with it. But then the remote control changed all that. And broadcasters couldn't count on the fact that people didn't want to change the channel. It used to be you had to get up out of the chair and go and manually change the channel. We should not be so locked into the station we're tuned to. If you're feeling stuck, or maybe if the old things just aren't working anymore, maybe it's time to change the channel, adjust. And with that is the necessary step of release. Release what you have in this hand so that you can pick up the next thing. Life is a series of catch and releases. And how do you know if you've got release? You feel it. The opposite of release is this being so bound. So if you feel all bound up, look at your life and see what you can release. Maybe it's not something physical. Maybe it is something you need to let go of in your head to give you that sense of freedom again. And the truth is, every time you've released, It's not been fatal. It all ends up working out. It always does. So I'm with you on this. It's been a progression of balance 4 weeks ago and then release. So I'm interested to see what the next word is for all of us. And what should we follow up release with? And the word is awakening. Coming to a new realization. So maybe this message about not being afraid to change the channel or let go of something so you can embrace something new involves an awakening. Maybe you'll surprise yourself when you realize what isn't working, even though it has worked for the last 10 years. You know, I started this diet back last November and it worked. Man, and I worked it. I did not cheat. But my body has gotten used to it and I have plateaued. So now I'm looking at, okay, what else? I know. Eat less, exercise more. Okay, that works for everyone. But I'm the kind of person that sort of needs a plan to stay with something, and it excites me to start a new program. So I'm looking for a new program, but the awakening was, ooh, this thing that has worked for a whole year just isn't working anymore. So I look forward to our awakenings, giving us new eyes to see, shaking ourselves out of a slumber perhaps, because we've been stuck in a groove. All right, here's to awakenings, everyone. I look forward to having them with you.